Hello and welcome to episode 66 of the Anger Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Alastair Duhs. Over the last 30 years, I have taught over 15,000 men and women to control their anger, master their emotions, and create calmer, happier, and more loving relationships. As always, I want to start by thanking you for listening to this podcast. I know that you have options when it comes to choosing which podcast to listen to, and I am honoured that you have chosen to tune in today. If you're in the process of learning how to control your anger, I also want to acknowledge you for this. It is not easy to admit that you need to make changes in your life, but by listening to this podcast, you have taken the first step towards creating a calmer, more peaceful, and fundamentally happier life. I also want to remind you that I offer one-on-one coaching sessions and a powerful online course for those who want personalized support in their journey towards controlling their anger. If you would like to know more, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can find my contact information, as well as the opportunity to book a free 30-minute anger assessment call with me on my website, angersecrets.com. With that said, today I want to revisit one of my most popular and important episodes of this podcast. This is episode 8, How to Take Responsibility for Your Actions. As you will appreciate, learning how to take responsibility for your actions is a vital step towards controlling your anger and improving your relationships. When you blame others for your actions, such as by saying things like, "She made me angry," "He pushed my buttons," or "they deserved it," you are giving away your power and control over yourself. In this episode, I will teach you how to take back that power. So let's dive into this Encore episode of How to Take Responsibility for Your Actions, modified and expanded for 2024. Do you blame others when you get angry? Have you ever said something like, "You made me so mad," or "I only lost it because of what you did"? Do you think your partner presses your buttons, and if only they would stop doing that, you wouldn't get so angry? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, then chances are you are not taking responsibility for your actions. In this episode of the Anger Secrets podcast, you will learn what taking responsibility for your actions means, how to do it, and why taking responsibility for your actions will help you control your anger. Let's begin with what taking responsibility for your actions means. Taking responsibility for your actions means acknowledging that your actions are your own and that you are the only one who can control them. Taking responsibility for your actions also means that you do not blame others for your actions or try to justify your actions. While taking responsibility for your actions sounds simple, it can be difficult in practice. There are many reasons for this, but the 4 most common reasons I encounter for people not taking responsibility for their actions are: Reason 1 is fear of consequences. Reason 2 is your family upbringing. Reason 3 relates to beliefs of entitlement. And reason 4 is a fear of shame. Let's take a closer look at each of these reasons. Reason 1 is fear of consequences. One of the main reasons people don't take responsibility for their actions is that they are afraid of the consequences of their actions. This fear can stem from a variety of sources, such as past experiences of being punished or criticized, or a perceived threat to their physical or emotional safety. For example, if you were raised in an environment where you were frequently punished for making mistakes, you may carry this fear into adulthood. As a result, the thought of taking responsibility for your actions may evoke intense feelings of fear or anxiety. While it is natural to be fearful of the negative consequences of your actions, taking responsibility for your actions is a necessary step towards change. It allows you to face the consequences of your actions with courage and honesty, ultimately leading to a better understanding of yourself and your emotions. Reason number 2 is your family upbringing. Another reason people struggle with taking responsibility for their actions is due to their family upbringing. If you were raised in a family where blaming others was a common response to conflict, you may have internalized this behavior as your way of dealing with anger and emotions. Growing up in such an environment can make it difficult for you to break the cycle of blame and take responsibility for your actions. In this case, understanding how your family upbringing has influenced your behavior is an essential step towards change. Reason number 3 relates to beliefs of entitlement. The next reason people don't take responsibility for their actions is due to beliefs of entitlement. This means that you may think you are entitled to behave a certain way and that others should simply accept it. This entitlement often manifests in various ways, such as believing you have the right to yell at your partner because they deserve it, or behaving aggressively towards someone who has wronged you. While it's essential to stand up for yourself and set boundaries, this should not come at the expense of others. Understanding and challenging your beliefs of entitlement, if you have them, is crucial in learning how to control your anger. Reason number 4 is fear of shame. The final reason people struggle with taking responsibility for their actions is a fear of shame. No one wants to feel ashamed or guilty, so it's natural to want to avoid these emotions. However, by not taking responsibility for your actions, you are not only avoiding these emotions, but also preventing yourself from learning and growing. Shame is also often accompanied by feelings of powerlessness and worthlessness. By acknowledging that you were wrong and taking responsibility for your actions, you are actively countering these feelings and empowering yourself to make positive changes in the future. Now that we have explored the 4 most common reasons why people struggle with taking responsibility for their actions, let's move on to how you can start to take responsibility in your everyday life. Remember, taking responsibility is vital to controlling your anger. When you take responsibility, you give yourself the power to choose different actions in the future. So, how do you take responsibility for your actions? When I work with clients, I teach them many ways to take responsibility for their actions. Here are 3 of the most powerful steps I encourage clients to take responsibility for their actions. Step 1 is to acknowledge your actions. The first step to taking responsibility for your actions is simply to acknowledge your actions, no matter how unpleasant this may be. It's essential to recognize and accept that your actions are your own, regardless of any outside influences. It's also vital to acknowledge that your actions have consequences for yourself and others. For example, if you have said or done hurtful things to your partner during an argument, acknowledge that it was your choice to do so and take responsibility for the pain you have caused. Do not blame your partner for your actions or try to justify your actions. Remember, you are in control of yourself, not your partner, and nothing your partner does or says can justify you responding in an angry, abusive, or violent way. Step 2 is to accept the consequences of your actions. The second step to taking responsibility for your actions is to accept the consequences of your actions, regardless of whether they are positive or negative. For example, if you have acted abusively in your relationship, a very real consequence of your actions may be that your partner is scared or frightened of you. This fear may last a long time, and it will likely profoundly impact your relationship, perhaps forever. I have met many people, for instance, who believe that their partner should get over the abuse they inflicted after just a few days, weeks, or months. But this is not how it works. It is not your partner's responsibility to get over your actions. It is your responsibility to accept the consequences of your actions and work towards repairing the damage you have caused. As mentioned, this can take time, and perhaps a long time, but it is necessary for your partner's healing and the repair of your relationship. Step 3 is to make a plan to change your actions in the future. The third step to taking responsibility for your actions is making a plan to change your actions in the future. This does not mean apologizing to your partner and saying it will never happen again. The reality is that unless you plan to change your behavior and take action on it, your behavior will likely repeat. Instead, take the time to reflect on what led to your actions and how you can change your behaviour in similar situations in the future. This may involve seeking professional help, such as participating in an anger management program. A good anger management program will teach you how to recognize the signs that you are getting angry, how to deal with your anger constructively, and how to avoid expressing anger in an abusive or violent way. You can find anger management programs in your area by asking your doctor for a referral. Alternatively, I offer one-on-one coaching sessions and a powerful online course for those who want to control their anger quickly and effectively. When it comes to anger management, I believe experience is the key, and few people are as experienced as I am in helping people control their anger, master their emotions, and create calmer, happier, and more respectful relationships. You can find more about my coaching and other services at angersecrets.com. Remember, taking responsibility for your actions is not always easy, but it is necessary for your personal growth and the health of your relationships. When you take responsibility for your actions, you are choosing to be in control of yourself and your future. You are choosing to grow and change for the better, and that is a powerful decision indeed. So, let's recap on what you have learned today. You have learned that people often struggle with taking responsibility for their actions due to a fear of consequences, their family upbringing, beliefs of entitlement, or a fear of being shamed. Taking responsibility for your actions is crucial in controlling anger and fostering healthier relationships. To take responsibility for your actions, you must acknowledge those actions, accept the consequences, and make a plan to change your behaviour in the future. Seeking professional help can greatly assist you in learning how to take responsibility for your actions and controlling your anger. And finally, by taking responsibility for your actions, you are empowering yourself to grow and make positive changes in the future. Be brave, be humble, and take ownership of your choices and actions to create a better life for yourself and those around you. Remember too that change starts with you. So start today by taking responsibility for your actions and creating a calmer, more peaceful and happier life. Remember too that help is available. With the right support, you can learn how to take responsibility for your actions, control your anger, and create happier, healthier, and more respectful relationships. Okay, thank you for listening to today's episode on how to take responsibility for your actions. And be sure to tune into the next episode to learn how to stop being so defensive in a relationship. If you found this episode helpful, please follow this podcast or head over to your favourite podcast app and leave a rating and review. This will help other people struggling with anger to find and benefit from this show. Also, for help with your anger right now, visit my website, angersecrets.com. And finally, remember, you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.
The Anger Secrets podcast is for general informational purposes only, and does not constitute the practice of counseling, psychotherapy, or any other professional health service. No therapeutic relationship is implied or created by this podcast. If you have mental health concerns of any type, please seek out the help of a local mental health professional.